You could speak to these models. And then she said, what day? And I was like, oh my God, really? So again, I just want to share with you guys, I mean, our business is so extraordinary, the fashion business, but it's like to really succeed, it's so important to look in the past and see the extraordinary art that's been created, by so many artists, rest in peace, George Armani. But Patricia is someone that, I mean, man, she's just done everything, every show. She's walked so many shows, from Chanel to Galliano, Claude Montana, Dolce Gabbana. She's done so many covers, Vogue, Mary Claire, Bazaar, Glamour. I remember her from, I think she's on the cover of one of my editions of Supermodel magazine. And gosh, I mean, most people know her. Most of the people around the world know her from her role in The Mummy as the villain. She was like this crazy, like a princess, a warrior princess that sliced everyone to death with her daggers. And that was what really, I think, made you a household name. Um, she's done music videos, Red Hot Chili Peppers. She's been in a George Michael video. She's been on TV, Hawaii Five-O, CSI, CSI Miami, Arrested Development. I mean, so many things. She's done so many, but the most important thing about her, in my eyes, is she's done tremendous work in the nonprofit space. All right, she really cares about giving back, and that's really why she's such a great alignment for us. She has a foundation called the YU Taya Foundation, and what she does, she helps supports villages of her of the indigenous tribe that comes from. She is half YU, and so she raises money to help provide them with water, food, medicine, all these kind of things. And it's just, she's done such incredible work. She's been on I just want to make sure I get this
That's
right.
good. That's enough.
That's
enough. Thank you.
She was appointed UNESCO Artist for Peace, and she's just so much incredible work and just someone I really admired. For everyone, please welcome Patricia Velásquez.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Let's move over here because I feel like I have my back to you. And I think it'll just maybe make the chairs over here a little more in a circle. Can you hear me okay? Yeah. Well, thank you so much. Welcome. And thank you both for inviting me and my daughter Maya and Allegra and my fiance Allison. I'm gay. Just you see, when I see across this room, it is so beautiful because the one thing that I see is diversity. And I know that nowadays this is a word that we cannot use too much. But this really gives me a lot of hope. And what the Supermodel Project is doing is something that it's really never been done before. I mean, I was modeling in the 90s. That was so long ago. And we've never had something like this. A place where we can gather, where we can eat, where we can feel welcome, where we can share with other models, not being enemies of models that work from a different agency, or if we actually have questions about what are the things that we can do and how we can support each other that did not exist at all. If you happen to have a good agent that kind of cared about you or a good agency, then you were okay. But most of the time you were a little bit lost in the space. And certainly when Craig asked me to come and talk with you guys a little bit, I think what was more important for me, a little bit I have to say because of my own experience, because my daughter has now signed with an agency, and those fears that I carry over and those traumas that I carry a lot of wonderful experiences, but obviously a lot of things that you carry over from our work that you don't have a space to talk about. And it's very important for me to if you can walk away from this room with a little bit more certainty that you are where you need to be and you are who you were supposed to be, and your strength is in your success is within you and it's not in the other girl that you're looking or the other model that you're looking at. And that's why you are going to find true success. Um, and I think before I open it up, because I think it's better to open it up and have a conversation rather than me just talking at you. I'm just going to tell you a little story. I grew up in a family of 6 brothers and sisters in Venezuela, and we lived in the 15th floor, and we have no water, and the elevators very rarely work. So, I have images of me, walking up the stairs, carrying buckets of water, you know, and saying to my mom, 7 more flights, mom, 7 more flights. And that's what I used to say to her as we're carrying. And I had 5 pounds on each arm, and my legs would be shaking, my arms would be hurting, and I would be asking myself, why do we have to go through this? I was only 10 years old. Is this normal? And my mom just, I can see the exhaustion in her face, but she will just quietly, she will present. And I think for me, that's the moment that my certainty was born, because I said, I have to help her. And I'm sure for all of you, there is a moment, doesn't have to go through that harsh experience of not having to pay for water or not having water at home. But I'm sure for you, that dream of wanting to do something uh, came at some point, even at this very young age that you have. It came. And but the thing about it is that once you start acting on it, right? Like I got chosen to model, and I was chosen to go to Milan. But in that time, and we're talking 35 years ago, there was no internet, there were no telephones. And here is this agency asking me to go work as a model. I'm 17 years old. I could very well be trafficked. Human trafficking still is a very serious thing nowadays. So here goes my first advice to you. Always be very careful, because you're all still at an age where things can happen. They tell you, oh, you're going to work, and then they take your passport away, and then you're done. So this is why spaces like these are so important, because you should always have a place where you can say, I'm afraid, something feels off, and confine it into somebody. So for me, fortunately, that was not the experience. I go to Milan very quickly. I end up in Paris. And this is a very sweet story. As soon as I get to Paris, I don't speak English. And I hear, as he said, I'm Wayu Indian, right? We indigenous are second class. I mean, we take the bus. We are. So when you grow up being indigenous, you don't think you are good enough. You think you are second class citizen because you do take the bus. And so when I just get to Paris, I hear that Sting and Judy Stein, you guys know Sting, the singer. Well, they have a foundation called the Rainforest Foundation. So they were putting a show together in London for the Rainforest Foundation that Versace was going to put together. So, and Rainforest Foundation is for the indigenous people. So I go to the agency and I said, I have to be in Spanish in that show. I am indigenous, but I had just arrived. So they said that. I go back to my little studio apartment, and and suddenly the phone rang. Beep, beep, that's what it just says. So I pick up the phone. It says that the organizers have reconsidered, and that yes, that I could be on the show. So I had no money. How am I going to get myself to London? They said, you can be on the show as long as you pay for it, as long as you pay your way. Like, but I don't have a penny. How am I going to go? So I go back to the agency and I ask them, will you pay for my ticket? I need to be on that show. I am indigenous. So they agreed. I've never been in the UK. They pay for my ticket, that of course I had to pay back. And they put me on a hostel. I mean, my legs, when you watch the movie, The Beds of the Nuns, that my legs were sticking out in a single bed. So, and I had a shared bathroom. But I was on that show. Here I go. I walk to the show, and there is Versace, bigger than life. And that's the first time I saw this. So there was Linda, Naomi, everybody was on that show. And when I went to my rack, everybody had 6 exits. I had 1. I just won. But it's okay. I was on the show. Who cares, right? So here I go. The show is about to start. I'm on my line, and they call my name. And I walk. When I walked on that runway, I've never felt such a thing. I felt like these were generations of women, indigenous women that have walked alongside me. Maybe because I just felt, suddenly I was proud, right? That to be indigenous. The show finishes. I was so happy. I go back to my little bed, sit in there, and then suddenly it just felt like the lights dimmed. And I felt sad. I felt like I had made all that effort. I put myself in debt to go to that show, and no one even noticed that I was on that show. And I'm sure that happens to you guys many times. Sometimes it's about walking into those rooms even when you feel seen. Because I'm gonna tell you what happened after. In the midst of that sadness, I for the first time said, you know what? I made that effort. I'm here. And I felt for the first time in my life, I felt proud of being indigenous, of being who I was. For the first time, I was not second class anymore. And then with that attitude, because that realization changed my life, it made me accept who I was. And when I went back to Paris, immediately Karl Lagerfeld noticed my features, and the rest of history. It made my career. So your soul, or they don't want your soul, or they don't want you as a person. No, they're looking for a very specific thing. Now, if you're gonna get on work, if you start feeling proud of that, that's who you are, whatever color you are, that's your key. If you have big ears, explode your big ears. If you have a tooth that's out of place, that's your look. Let it work for you. If you have a thick accent, make it work for you. If you have a one leg bigger than the other, make it work for you. Because that is your key to success. And there's nothing wrong with it. And then, I'll shut up with that one. I'll just put out the question. What else? If you think, I think it might just be best, because it's been so many years. If somebody wants to ask something, open up with a question. Yeah, go ahead.
Cool.
So when you started acting, how did that happen?
How did you start acting? Well, I grew up in the dance theater, but it just really. Sometimes I'm a little bit afraid of answer this question because it might seem that it just happened, but in a way, it can tell you that things, yes, they can happen. I was already working a lot, and they were casting a movie in France that was going to be the biggest movie ever made in France, even bigger than Mission Impossible. And the movie was about saving an indigenous village. And my agent, Katie Ford, in Paris, she said, and Iris from Paris, they said, they want to see you for this. And I said, no, I have too much respect for the business. I have just seen models crash. There's this belief that models cannot act. That has changed a little bit, but during my time, definitely. And I said, no, I don't. I have too much respect for the business. So they said, but just go meet with the director. I met with the director, and they offered me the movie. And I went to the Amazon and worked with Jean Reno. Then I fell in love with the experience. But I knew that I had the chance. But I also knew that was just my chance to get in, and I took the chance. So after that, then it comes the guilt. Like, what do you mean I get this? Which is something that might very well happen to you. You might get a huge campaign, or you might get, and then you feel, why me? Why not all the other people? And then you start feeling a little guilty. Did I work hard enough? Do I deserve this? Because this is the thing. Sometimes, especially in this industry, you find that you are living by other people's dreams and other people's goals. You're not living by yours. So you start following instead of leading. And you are leaders. That's why you are a model. No, not a question. Only the 0.01% of the world can be a model. So you are already chosen to be a leader. But what happens? We're pulled, no wonder, we're pulling. The world is out loud, it's so full of pressures, and we're pulled in so many different directions. And then many times, the one thing we were supposed to do for ourselves is the first one we take off the list. How many times have you, I don't know, you go to the supermarket and you end up buying not the one thing you needed for you, or you didn't go to the gym because you were doing something for somebody else. And that's okay, but we need to start putting ourselves on the list and making that one list, that one thing that you do a day. If you have to walk out of here today with one advice from me, is never take that one thing off your list, whatever that thing is. Your gym, your 5-minute meditation, your 30-minute shower, your one to watch, I don't know, whatever it is. Because what happens is, in this industry that is throwing at you and you're being hearing no all the time, it does affect your self-esteem. But if you keep yourself first on the list of the one thing that makes you feel good with yourself, then you are going to feel okay with yourself, and most importantly, you're going to start connecting again to your reason, your mission, and your why. And then when opportunities show, because most of the time we don't see them, we don't think we're ready, we don't give ourselves permission. So I am telling you right now, we give you permission to give yourself permission, because we are wired to not give ourselves permission. So this is what happened with me with that movie. I had to give myself permission because the Ford modeling agency gave me permission. But if it would have been up to me, I would have never done it. What can I do? And this is the one thing, when you have that feeling of guilt, why am I living this extraordinary life when every friend around me doesn't? Why do I get access to a lounge like this one when the rest of the world doesn't? Why I can get a free meal or a restaurant that wants to sponsor because I am a model? Right? So what is the one thing you can do? Is your best. That's it. Do I do my best? Did I do my best? And if you have done your best, that's the only thing. You didn't get the job. Did I do my best? Okay, I didn't get the job. Because if you don't do your best, then there's always that thing that you didn't get the job because you didn't try hard enough. You didn't work out. You didn't eat healthy. You're overweight. You're underweight. All of it, So that is the one thing that we can control. So after that first movie, I started studying. And I'm studying up until today. But let me tell you, I've paid for so many auditions that we were just talking. I've done thousands of auditions. And I do movies where, like La Llorona, #1 movie, another one. And then you think, okay, that's it. I don't have to audition anymore. We're done. That's it. And it doesn't happen. And it's this thing that just is this circle. And that's why I'm telling you, and I say this to Maya all the time, I've been a model that has been very successful. I've been an actor that has had tremendous success, and I still struggle. Sometimes I struggle. Sometimes I'm in the top, and sometimes I'm not. What do you do? Maybe I should have. Maybe this is why I like doing, a conversation like today. Maybe I could have, not should have, because I didn't. What's past in the past. But maybe I could have, or if I had the support that you have now, this way that you can actually communicate, invest, know that there is an end to this. Use it for something bigger. Enjoy every moment of it. And know that your place is the place that you're supposed to have, because it's the right place for you. Then you won't have that struggle. Try not to depend financially on the things that you love. Let them happen naturally. Because if you put too much pressure in putting financially responsibility on the things that you love, not that you're doing it because you love it, it just kind of changes. And then you start becoming resentful. You start acting out of fear. You're not enjoying the moment. So that's probably the biggest advice I can give. Thank you.
Carry the microphone around to the next person.
Can you say your name? Yeah, it's okay. Can you just say your name? Actually, you might need it for sound.
Yeah,
you need it for sound. What's your name?
My name is Kevin Jones. It's a pleasure to be in front of you right now. Thank you so much for being here. My question is, how did you eventually learn to protect yourself and protect your values while being in such a competitive, mind-boggling area? Because before getting into the industry myself, I had to mentally prepare myself and educate myself on what I'm getting into, because you can always get yourself into any sticky situation, and you don't want to be in that situation. There's plenty of models that have been in that situation countless of times, and unfortunately, the mirror is looking right at me. But at the end of the day, you keep it pushing. So how did you overcome that and get through that?
That's a very good question. It was harsh, especially it doesn't happen so much when you're in the day-to-day where you're doing photo shoots. It happens mainly like if you're doing runway, because then that's when you really start comparing yourself with other girls. Like just what I told you about the height, and I have hips. So there were designers that never booked me, even designer friends that would not book me because I had hips. And it made me feel bad that I wasn't tall enough, or I wasn't skinny enough, or I wasn't androgynous enough looking. So everyone, I think what I wanted to say is that everyone is typecasted. We think that because we have darker skin, we are typecasted, or the Asians are typecasted, right? But actually everybody is. All American girl is typecasted. We all are typecasted. So the moment you understand that what you have is your strength, is the key, that's where you're gonna be okay. That's when you're gonna go, you're a gorgeous man. You're gorgeous. So, but when you're getting no, of course you're gonna feel bad. If there's a reason for it, there is a space for you. If you're already signed with an agency, or if you already have people that are interested in you, you have a space in the business. It might not be, the space that you want, but I have to tell you, without a doubt, the universe always will give you what you need. And most of the time it's not what you want. No, it's not what I want, right? But it's always what you need. Because you're a good person, because you're doing the best you can, because you're doing the hard work. So sometimes we're just so stubborn, and we want to go that way, and we want that, and we want that, and the universe is giving you this and this, and you're not noticing it. So maybe, yes, continue to do the work to where you want to go, but also be aware where opportunities are, because you might be living in a space that you might just don't know about it because you want to follow somebody else's career, and that might not be your space. And the great thing about today, which we didn't have, social media, all that you can do yourself, all the content you produce, and I believe that even within social media, show your vulnerabilities. Don't stay on the fake. Don't stay in the fat ones. The more vulnerable you are, the more people will relate to you. People are in need of messages. Just like you want to ask me for a message, I want to ask you for a message. I also have my things. People are in such a need of messages that if you show your vulnerabilities, your what they call it, fuck-ups, when you make mistakes, people are in real need of hearing someone who is not perfect. And I think that's the key. Use them. And that might be your venue. I don't know. There are many venues, but certainly that's one that is inexpensive. Your validation cannot come from social media. It's such a controlling tool that is truly, and I love social media. Let's say I really do love social media. It's designed to put you down because that's the way it gets hold on you of you. So you take control of it. It's in you. Use it for yourself. Use how good it is, and use it for you. That might be the key. Don't wait for others. We come from a business where we think our career is going to come from somebody else. The business has changed. We have to generate the opportunities. And you can do that through your own content. Another question. Yeah. Are we good? Yes, go ahead. What's your name?
My name's Yasmin Smith, and I'm from London, but I'm here for New York Fashion Week. But I wanted to ask you, as a model, was there any time that you were like moving between agencies, or you kind of were freelancing for a little bit? Because I feel like that's where I am right now. I'm trying to find like a good agent for a long period of time. I've had a good agent for about 3 years now, but I feel like my work is starting to like decline a little bit. Do you ever feel like you needed to have like a conversation with your current agent, or would you recommend that I go out there and find someone new and not someone that's excited about you?
I think Greg should answer that question, and then you can give an opinion. He's the agent.
Yeah, I mean, it starts with your agent. It starts with understanding your relationship. So are you someone that signed with them and then maybe like, kind of just stopped communicating, kind of disappeared off the map? But it's someone that you've always had a lot of trust for, then something now things are not happy. It all depends on really where your relationship starts, what your dynamic is with them. Because it's sort of like, I think once you determine that, you call the meeting and you say what you need to say. Say, listen, I'm so, and that's funny thing because there's certain finesse ways to talk to agents because they can be very reactive and everything, but it's just really just kind of like saying, hey, oh my God, you're so amazing. I'm so lucky to have you in my life, blah, blah, blah. You've done great work for me. I'm kind of, starting to slow down, can we talk about that? Can we talk about any ways that I can be better? Can you help me? Because, I know that, I've always trusted you. I've always looked up to you for you, that you've always provided for me. How can I be better? I think it's really, it's so important because it's so easy to kind of just like have that internal voice saying, no one likes you anymore there, or whatever, I'm not competing enough there, so maybe I should just sneak out the back door. But give that agent an opportunity to say, hey, listen, that's such great work together. I started to slow down. I thought, what can I do to be better? What can I help you do to help you book me? And then you give them permission to step into that leadership role, say, listen, young grasshopper, I'm going to show you the way, and let that happen. And if it doesn't happen, there's a red flag. If they're like, you know what, I don't know what you're talking about. I've talked about this the other day, but like I know 2 models at top agencies that when they started asking why they weren't working as much, they got dropped like the next few days later. That's just not right. Everything we have to be able to talk about these things. But at the end of the day, it's like if they don't want you, if they're not responding to you, that's a red flag. Then perhaps there's a better place for you.
Yeah, I think it's totally exactly what he's saying. You have to give him or her or they the power. What can I do to help you? Help us. What can I do? So you empower rather than demanding, or rather than just asking or putting them in the spot because they might feel that you're calling them out on not working enough. So you ask, what can I do to help you? Help me. And then that will empower. And then that reminds me of something that I read a book once called Never Eat Alone. I very much recommend this book. Most of the time, and I'm not talking about when you go and show your work or when you go and walk the runway, there is something about the attitude of how you walk into a room, how you talk to an assistant, how you talk to anybody. Most of us are always going to a meeting wanting to get something. We want the job because we need it, because we need the money, because we need the job. And as hard as this is, if you can switch it and start thinking, even when you walk down the runway, also understand the power of assistance, because eventually there will be bosses, and also they can make or break your communication with the boss. Always show up in a room thinking, how can I give? That's the key. For me, that's my key of success. Instead of give me the job, what can I do for you? Because when you walk into a room and you're thinking about giving rather than receiving because you want the job, the person that's the agent, the executive, or there are people, and they want to book somebody so badly. This is the thing. We think that there are enemies. And so anyway, let me just close the subject. Always give. Always see. Even when you walk down the runway, I hope that me is as silly as this, but I'm telling you, it works. When you're walking down that runway and you're going, I hope that by me wearing this outfit brings something great to you who is watching. That energy, believe it or not, changes, and they feel it. They do feel it. I promise you, they feel it. You have a show where there's 60 models walking. Why do they feel me if I'm the prettiest and the this? Because you have that energy, and constantly you're reminding yourself. 1, 2, you're reminding yourself. When you're in front of that camera, you are not just in front of the photographer. I ask you to use substitution. Who is behind that camera? This is what's going to break your career. If you're behind a camera, who are you posing for? You're shooting a catalog, you're gonna be happy. Who makes you happy? Especially when you're so tired, that's when you most have to think of that person. It's not the photographer taking the photo. And you're gonna work on that substitution day and night. Whenever they say, you remember, think of us. Who is this? My boyfriend, my girlfriend, my mother, my dad. The moment I was sad, who made me sad? Work on your substitution. It's going to improve your career from here to here. I'm sure many of you are already do it. I'm sure many of you already do it. So that is, for me, very important that you think about it. And then I forgot the other thing I was going to say. It'll come to me. It'll come to me. But it's all, yeah, go ahead.
Continue. I'll ask my question after.
No, you can answer.
Just a general question, because me personally, I'm very secure with myself. I'm very confident in my leg. I'm very confident with what I can put out on any floor I step into. However, there is days where everybody in this room, no matter how you're feeling, everybody has their bad days. You cannot say you don't. Everybody has their bad days. So what is one thing you do to keep you up, to keep you drive, to keep you moving, to keep your confidence up?
So important. Exactly what I said to you before. Do that one thing every day. And do not let it get off your list. So I can tell you, for me, that one thing is hot yoga. Yes, it's my thing. And I'm adamant. That makes me feel happy, makes me feel that I detox. I don't know what it is for you. It doesn't necessarily have to be a form of exercise, but just identify what is the one thing that you love. Might be walking 10 minutes, might be reading a book, might be, I don't know. Go up and down the stairs, whatever it is, I don't know, but when I do it, whether I get a rejection, whether I feel really bad, and I go, I bring peace to myself. Whether I've been rejected for a movie that I really wanted to do, whether I knew I was the right person for that role and I get rejected. I can't tell you how many times I got rejected when I was on. I mean, it wasn't like you guys now. We used to walk up and down 20 castings per day. In Japan, we would do 40 castings per day. We would sit in the car and just go one after the next. In Japan, you will go and you have to you have to book five jobs for the end of the week. Otherwise, they will send you back home. Everybody got sent back home. I happened to stay, but then you're like left alone. Now your friends all left. So there are constant things. It is a little bit more organized now. I did a show yesterday, a small show. I couldn't believe they have model coordinator. They have a hair department coordinator. I'm like, oh my gosh! Before you used to fight for your space, for your place. Who was going to do your hair and makeup? It is so much more civilized now, of what it used to be. So just keep doing the work. Treat everybody kind, especially in those days when you don't feel good. Always come trying to give service. And I know it's kind of goes against what you're trying to do when you're gonna go trying to get a job, right? But trust me, that human that's sitting behind, it's gonna feel your energy that you're coming from a place of somebody that cares about him. I come into a meet with you, I care about you. That's the message he's gonna get. So maybe he had somebody else in mind, and be selfish about it. What I'm telling you is selfish. I'm saying it as a selfish person. I am gonna come into his room and be of purpose to see how I can, how are you doing? How's your day? How was it? Mine must be, it's like, what time? It must be hot. Like, whatever. Just make it about them, not about you. They might have 3 other people in mind, or 100 other people in mind. That will put you at the top of the list. And maybe you get it, maybe you don't get it, but you will be remembered. There might be another job that you will be right for, and you will be called.
You can go first. You go first.
Princesa. My name is Thiago. I am from Colombia originally. I have a question for you. You mentioned before about our mission and the why. So when was that call that you felt or heard about helping your communities, your white communities? I try to do something similar for our Latin community in the States because we work so hard, but we always put ourselves so low. So when is the right time? When you hear that call, or when you actually realize that it is the right time to do it for them? You need to reach a certain level in your career or in your life to do it?
That's very sweet. I think for me, when I mentioned before about Karl Lagerfeld and how my career, that was fantastic. But that was nothing in compared to what I felt when I went back to Venezuela. I took my mom to a new apartment building with working elevators and running water, and it was a surprise for her, and I gave her the keys, and I said to my mom, no more carrying up the stairs now. No more. That's what it started at a very personal. For me, it was personal. Then it became more because you become a little bit known, so you understand that the work that I was doing for my community was bigger than what I thought, because during that time it was only me in the fashion, and Salma Hayek was starting in the acting, so there were not many Latinas in our space. So I think, to your question, the answer is gradual. There isn't a moment where you say, I'm big enough. I started my foundation many, many years ago because one child was dying a day, and I had to do something about it. There was no question. I had to do it. We started with a little preschool, and then that has grown to almost 2 million people we have. But it was like life or death. Somebody had to do it, and I was in a position to do it. But there is not a moment. There might be things that you want to do for our community, that there are other organizations that you can go and volunteer, every once in a while. What happens is, we think we have to do it all. You have to create your own foundation. You have to do your own thing. And I have to tell you, you don't. And you don't want to. Because the responsibility that comes with starting a foundation, with having to deal with the administration, with raising funds, it's not, you shouldn't do it. You should just go and help other organizations that are already doing the work. And just because then it becomes about our ego. Oh, am I that good? Oh, I am the one that's starting this. Oh, I am, starting a foundation for the agriculture in Colombia. Or, it becomes about you. Do it slowly. Just go and get what's already there. What they're doing, it's something that came out of that need. That there was a moment that nobody else could do it but them. Nobody. Eventually you get to a place where maybe you go, but right now your focus should be your work and go and help. Don't, I live a very chaotic life, and my fiance can tell you that. It's a nightmare because I'm running the foundation. Maya's now here. I'm in Los Angeles. I act. I do speaking. It's like I do so much. Why? Because there's a struggle. So you kind of want to go, I don't want to struggle anymore. I just want to, it's like it's so much. Just be simple. Try to keep it simple. Do your work and go help. But don't start a whole thing that is going to take over your life, which is what happened to me. My foundation took over my life. Therefore, my work came down. But why? I was like, no, I'm not going to go do that job when I'm sending medicine to Venezuela where people are in need. If I don't send it, they will have no medicine. So that's an extreme case. And trust me, I'm paying for it. I don't mind it because I believe that opportunities always come back, right? So at your age, my advice, just go and help. Eventually, when you're really settled and you're like in a position, then you go, okay, let me maybe start something. But for now, there are plenty of organizations that are doing amazing work. And by the way, with the Supermodel Project, you can also do stuff. They are doing things for the environment. They are getting together. Join the group. And you will be amongst your peers. When I was a model, I have my peers that I work with, that I shop with, but we really only hang out backstage during the fashion week. In the 4 cities we went to, and in Phoenix. Every once in a while we'll be, but it wasn't this. This is such a unique opportunity. And if you turn it into doing something where you can help the world, oh my gosh, it's going to fulfill your self-esteem in an extraordinary way. Yeah.
So when you started the industry, what are things that you learned about yourself as a person, not as like a model or an actress, that helped you grow, that helped you become the best version of yourself, and kind of like what was the journey of that?
I learned that I wasn't all that great. At our age, we think I learned that I was different. Yes, I think that's what it was. That's a beautiful question. I learned that I was different, and that different that I had, that you have, that I can see you have, was my key to success. I just didn't know, but slowly I realized, wait a minute, I danced. I used to be a dancer. Suddenly I was in front of the camera. I was working in front of the camera, moving in a way that other people weren't. I wasn't doing a dance movement. I was doing this, but I would be doing this. So it didn't look like a dancer, but it looked like the energy was flowing. So I learned as time went by that in my difference was my success. And I just cultivated it more and more. And the other thing is, you want to be in it for the long run. Right now, we want instant gratification. That's what we want, because it's the way society, that's the way we're living with, our social media, all of it. We want it now. We have no patience. During my time, there are always models that come and go. They hit it off the park, and then you're like, wait a minute, I've been busting my butt for so but they come and go. It's more important every step of the way. Just walk the long run. That's why I think it's so important with Craig. said to you about talking to the agent, look at it in the long run. I made mistakes. You know, I left Ford after many years because my booker, Ivan Bart, at the time, you know, he was my main person. He went to ING and basically asked me to follow him. And I adore Ivan, so I went with him. And that was a big mistake. That was a big mistake. I should have, it's really where my career started. You know, I should have stayed with my agent, that agency that was working. So we all make those mistakes. But every time you have to learn to what is being reactive versus what your instinct is saying. And it's in those moments where you say that you do that one thing that you do every day for yourself, that your instinct is the one that speaks to you. When you don't do that, you become reactive. So if you do yoga, it comes to you as a flash. It just goes like this, and it comes so clear, out of nowhere. It is so clear. So what is that thing that brings you that? And then learn to recognize it and not be reactive. Be proactive, based on your instinct. Sometimes you know what there might be. Look, where in our lives are we lacking a little bit of courage? Where? You know, is there a dream that you've been holding on? You know, a decision that you need to make, a conversation that you need to have that you've been putting off. You know it. So based on that knowledge, acting with that certainty, you know, because that certainty, it becomes it's what grounds you, it becomes your anchor. It's not gonna remove the challenge, it's not gonna take away the obstacles, but it's going to help you through them. It's going to remind you of your purpose. What is that purpose? I want to be a supermodel, I want to be this, I want to be that. What is that purpose? It's going to help you filter through the noise, and it's going to give you the courage to take the step to keep moving forward. Yes, go ahead. What's your name?
When you went back home to Venezuela and you know you're living your success, did you have any like experiences with close people, like friends, family, treat you differently, and like any negative situations, and how did you handle that?
Yeah, I did. I think for me, it was more when whether you have tremendous success or not. When you're a model, you're already different. And when you go back home, everyone looks at you differently. And they judge you. This is what I used to say to Maya growing up. My daughter, Maya, say hi. So, you know, she'll come home with some stories that she was mistreated at school or she was bullied at school. It was terrible. It's like, look, you're the pretty girl. You're a pretty girl, and there's nothing wrong with it. So we all have a thing, right? You have to be extra nice because number one, you're gonna be judged. You're a model, you're gonna be judged. No doubt about it. You're gonna walk into a room, everyone's gonna judge you because you're beautiful, because you're different. So whether you have a success or not, when you're going back home, you're still gonna be judged. Your power is to be extra nice. Don't be stupid. I'm sorry for the word. Like, no, we don't have to be stupid, but be extra nice. Your power is your kindness. Because when you are the pretty girl, right? You're the pretty girl. Every girl's gonna look at you and it's gonna go, "Oh, she's so pretty. I just did it." You know, that's already going in there, and they're gonna think you're dumb right away. They think you're dumb. Imagine what power you have now when you're nice and you're actually not dumb. Because the experiences that you're getting in this business, walking around the cities, being exposed to all, I mean, you guys are all from different countries. You're exposed to so much. You have to understand that 99.9% of the world is not exposed to this. You are. So how you manage it? always be extra nice. For me, my challenge, and it's not so much you guys nowadays, is because I was gay. So here I am in the cover of every magazine. The mommy has come out. I'm like shooting all these movies, and I was living a double life. I was raising Maya with my partner at the time, Laura, her other mom, and I was so afraid. I'm doing Victoria's Secret. I'm doing Sports Illustrated, and I was living a double life. I couldn't tell the world that I was gay because I was disappointed. I used to get between 30 and 40 letters per month from correctionaries, from jails. So I was so afraid that I was raised Catholic, so it was unthinkable. I was so afraid to disappoint my fans, everything that I had worked so hard for. But eventually, I had to show Maya what was to live in your truth. I couldn't continue to live this fakeness, right? So I decided to write a book, and I came out, and I have to tell you, not only no one judged me, and if anyone did, I didn't know, and I don't care, but I gained a whole new community with LGBTQ plus community, a whole new community. So, live in your truth. Always.
Thank you.
Should we have just a couple questions more, and then we wrap it up? Yeah.
Save the best for last.
Okay.
You have balanced modeling, acting, business, and activism. I think that's the word I'm looking for. And your work ethic and everything you have done is very inspiring. I do agree with Jalen on that for sure. I mean, like, nobody can take that away from you at all. So what is one thing you can tell everybody in this room right now to be able to keep a long, stable working career for longevity? Because at the end of the day, we're all here for a reason, and that reason is to be a working model. If that's not your goal in here, then, well, at least I'm assuming that everybody in here wants to be a working model. I mean, if you don't want to be a working model, I mean, that's on you. But I mean, that's what you want. I mean, that's what you have to be, I mean, technically classified as a successful model. I mean, you gotta be working. So what is it to keep us in the industry?
Keep you in the industry. A word to keep you in the industry. I think what we said before probably is it's not personal. When you hear a no, it's not personal. That's probably my biggest advice. But I think I want to just, in this little conversation that we're having, I'm going to ask, if you don't mind, if I can just, like you, for example. What's your name? Ashley. Where are you from? Florida. Oh, wonder where?
South Florida, West Palm Beach, so an hour from Miami.
Okay. My mom lives there. Nice to meet you. I would like very much to just, to wrap it up a little bit. If it's okay, that we just go like this quickly, and you just say, my name is your name. I'm from Florida, and just say one word. That maybe you're getting from this conversation. Just say one word of something of that list. If you have something on that